Good afternoon, Crown Point. Mayor Pete Land here with another edition of the Lay of the Land podcast. This is season 2, episode 4. We're just discussing. This is halfway through our second season. Appreciate all you viewers tuning in and keeping us at that number 1 ranking. So it's good to see that you are enjoying the show as much as we like doing it. So welcome. We got an exciting show for you today. We got a fantastic guest, especially with the start of school season upon us and all the stuff that's going on at the Crown Point School. So definitely stay tuned for the show. So as usual, we got our co-host Anthony Schlueter here.
Thanks,
Anthony, and he's been working hard getting ready for our budget workshop and 2024 budget. Yep. Yeah. So what's been going on the last month besides that?
I don't know. I mean, just in my household, it's all been about, getting every last bit of summer in.
Yeah.
So the girls been packing it all in and, just getting ready for school. Got out to school shopping in.
Back to school shopping.
Got their hair highlighted and nails done and everything. So
nice. Glamour shots done. We're good.
Absolutely. So they're good, ready to go.
So are they excited or are they like dreading?
It's not like it was before. They used to be so excited going back to school, but now it's more like summer's over. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But they enjoy school. So.
Yeah. Well, you guys had a great summer with all the softball, and you guys had a lot of success. The girls had a lot of success with.
They did. They really grew this year, and both teams did well. And second place in the at the World Series.
That's a big deal.
Pretty close.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Pretty proud of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We have Adam Graper, our third chair. Because everybody else said no, they couldn't come. But nevertheless, people have said that I pick on Adam. You pick on Adam too much. Do you find that to be the case?
No, I think when you look up to somebody that you generally want to, it's just like having a girlfriend at school. Sometimes you pick him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're a boy, you pick on him.
So I get it.
Really like that.
How they work out with your girlfriend?
Well, it's a form of flattery, so I appreciate it.
But thanks again for taking your time out of the evening to join the show. So, and then Mary, doing a great job. Our internet's holding up, fantastic. Put a lot of money into this season's budget, or the season's budget for the podcast. So.
Sure.
So, like I said, we got a very exciting show. So we have a rock star and the Crown Point School Corporation family, Mr. Dave Coulson, here joining us today. David, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's you have no off season, I know, but
right.
I know right now it's hopping over at the.
We have a lot of plates spinning and a lot of people doing a lot of good things to get this thing up and running for the school year.
Yeah.
And I do want to say thank you for inviting me to be here today. Giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about what we're doing with the school corporation as we gear up here.
Yeah. Season 1 we had Superintendent Todd here as one of the guests talking about all the construction that was well underway at that point and everything. So
right.
Those of you that don't know, Dave is the school corporation safety and school specialist. So you've really taken that. Obviously you're one of the most critical jobs in the school corporation. So we'll get into a little bit about that and everything that you do and you have to prepare for and so forth. So it's all encompassing. But before we get to that, so you just didn't jump into the school corp. You got quite the law enforcement career. Got you up to this stage.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a little bit. Started back in 1980, actually, at Indiana University when I was going to school at Indiana University Northwest. They had a program, they still do, it's called the Cadet Program, and basically it enables you to go to the police academy while you're attending school, and you do duties around the campus and get certified as a police officer. So at 19, I was able to get certified and then establish those credentials that would take me into the next phase in 1981 with the Highland Police Department. I grew up in Highland, so it was always a dream of mine to be able to serve the community that I grew up in. I have so much respect for. And then I worked in patrol, and then the last year I was there in 1988 to 89 in the Detective Bureau, and then left Highland, went to the federal government, worked for ATF for about 29 years as special agent. That was always a dream to get into the federal system. Always considered myself, however, I went to the federal government, I always considered myself a local police officer with a federal badge because that's where my passion always was.
Yeah.
So I did that for quite a while and then moved on because of mandatory retirement with the federal government and criminal investigator special agents. They do have a 57 age limit, so then they kick you out and
I've
you
always found
figure
that to
out
be
what else
a
you're going to
little
do with your
odd.
life. So.
Is that a little odd? I mean, 57. I'm 57 for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It's not like it's old,
Right.
right? You're just kind of hitting your stride. So then, how many total years did you work at ATF?
With my crew time, it was almost 29.
So, well, like, what were some of the assignments and tasks that you were charged with?
Well, I was very lucky when I got hired in '89. I was able, and when I say lucky, I was able to stay local. I worked out of our Chicago Field Division initially, was assigned to our Oak Brook, Illinois office for about 6 months, and then I was able to come to Maryville. They opened an office in Maryville and got transferred to Maryville. Again, fortunate to be working in my backyard, if you will.
Yeah.
We have, a genuine, at least I had a genuine interest in making sure that our area was safe and sound.
Yeah. Well, I know from the local law enforcement, yeah, and the ATF, and then all of the ATF, it's the public doesn't realize how important the shared resources and when we had situations we would just call, and you guys were like in our city within 30 minutes and here to help, and the whole entourage of getting this situation under control and working together.
And that's really one of the things that attracted me to go to ATF, to be honest with you, because it primarily hired police officers throughout various city, town, jurisdictions. So they have an appreciation. They know who the real police are, and it's not the feds, it's the police. So, but
Yeah.
we do have the capability of bringing in additional assets and work hand in hand. And one of the things that I was very fortunate again to work on in Crown Point, actually the city of Crown Point, we still are the fiduciary for the HIDA program.
Yeah.
So when that started back in '98, initially it was at the Lake County, the old nursing home was where it was housed, and the sheriff, or not the sheriff's department, but Lake County was the fiduciary at that time, and then there was a shift. The HIDA moved to Crown Point, and then you became the fiduciary and basically employed all those civilian positions. So I was assigned from really the inception of HIDA. We had a task force, we continue to have a task force there, and work hand in hand with the other task forces, DEA, FBI, IRS has a component too, and basically everybody's working together. And what makes it a success, again, I go back to the local aspect of it, is having that local representation of police officers from all the agencies to come together and work collectively for the betterment of our community.
Yeah.
So that's really, was the highlight, I would say, for my career, was working with all those different entities. And Crown Point was one of them.
Yeah. We have officers assigned out there.
Yeah,
That's right.
You had them there early on, and I've worked on different task forces over the years, in addition to HIDA, DEA, and the FBI. So worked with a lot of your people.
Yeah, I know. Like the residents have heard, us talk about HIDA, and it's not something that is overtly advertised, but as I describe it, it's like having like an extra police department in our city. So the public never knows when our officers call out to HIDA, and like you said, it's different federal agencies all on the same task force, and you can't get a better resource, instantaneous resource, and here it is right in our own community. So,
and for your audience, when I say HIDA, so that's an acronym for High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area. It's a program, it's not an agency, but it's a funding mechanism that brings certain assets to the area. And Lake County, when it started, it was very unique because it was a one-county HIDA, which was unheard of. And this is back when Congressman Visklowski was in office. He brought it here, a one-county HIDA. $3 million, I believe, was the initial money that had been earmarked for our area. So it had, and I think it continues to have an impact.
It does.
Yeah, to be able to pick up a phone and call your representative, or even if you don't have somebody on it as a police agency, they're still going to respond and help you.
That's fantastic. So you retired from the ATF.
Retired, got kicked out.
Trying to be nice,
Have
Dave.
a nice day.
It's a family
Stuff
show.
and go bye-bye.
Right.
Yeah, so at that time, as luck would have it, it was July of 2017, and my birthday is in August, so they give you to the end of the month, the month that you're born in. But in July, there was a posting for Chief of Police in Cedar Lake. So it wasn't on my bucket list to become a police chief, but I needed a job, and I still had a little gas in the tank, as I still do. So I put in for it, didn't expect to get it, and did. And so I worked there for about 2 years, a little over 2 years. And during that period of time, I had the opportunity to work with Crown Point schools because, as you know, there's an elementary school in Cedar Lake, MacArthur Elementary, that's part of this Crown Point School Corporation. And I had occasions to not only interact with the principal, but also some of the upper management of the school corporation, and got to know them based on different things that had happened in the area of MacArthur. And there was another opportunity that opened up for Director of Security, Supervisor of Security, and that's where I met Artie Akiva and put in for it, and again was very fortunate to get hired.
Yeah,
And that's almost 4 years ago.
because when they were going through that process, Artie had called me and said, "Hey, do you know this Dave Coulson? What do you think of him?" And completely lied, said, "You're a great guy, fantastic fit."
Well, you have.
You know, but called and I said, "If you can hire him, hire him, because he's going to be a great asset to the school corp and the city."
I appreciate that. And one of the things that really attracted me to it as well, this corporation, is that, again, that close-knit working relationship that the corporation has with the city of Crown Point, the police department, fire department. Just, I think it's unprecedented, I'll be honest with you. I've seen other communities, and the interaction just isn't there.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
From so many different aspects. And one of the things that was in place when I was in Cedar Lake as chief, and had been invited to several of the meetings that the safety meetings with the city and the different components of the city, and to see that in motion is just really unique, and we continue to do that.
Yeah,
we meet on a regular basis. We'll start that up again. We kind of had a little pause for the summer, but we'll start that up again. And you've attended, Mayor, as when you were chief here. Adam attends. We have representation from the fire department and police department, the public works department, which is awesome, and the EMA. So, and then we have representation also at those meetings from Cedar Lake, police department, fire department, and Winfield, and Lake County Sheriff's Department, because they serve one of our elementaries also. So there's a lot of moving parts with this when you look at it, because most towns or cities is like, okay, we've got all these schools within the confines of our jurisdiction. Well, our corporation has, as I mentioned, tentacles out to Cedar Lake and Winfield and unincorporated Lake County. So there's a lot of things in play that we have to make sure that we're not meeting people. God forbid we had an incident, we're meeting them the first time at that incident.
So if this upcoming school season, what's the enrollment now? Do you have any idea?
We're right around 9,000 students, which is
That is a lot.
Which is a pretty good sized school corporation.
Yeah,
I think we're neck and neck with Lake Central, and if you look at Lake Central, it's comprised of 3 communities. Sort of, in some respects, similar with all the different components and play with the different communities, but we're right around 9,000 students.
9,000. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to your point, and in the police department days, and I never understood this. You'd see, and I'd hear talk to different chiefs, and they were at odds with their school corporation. I mean, like at the neck, at odds.
Yep.
And I never understood that. Why what are you achieving? You're
Right.
not going to achieve anything
Right.
taking that approach.
Right.
So we've always been blessed that one, we've had a great school board and leadership team,
Yes.
especially under Superintendent Todd and his staff and the current
Yep.
school board makeup. It's just like touch base meetings a monthly. So these are basically information sharing, get all the parties together, whether it's something specific or just this is what's going on. Have you heard anything or is there any intelligence, that kind of thing? Just being proactive to the team. It's just always been a great
I mean, that
partnership.
has been awesome. I mean, I think Dave hit it on the head, and you're hitting on the head, Mayor, is that, I mean, we've got Merrill, Chief Lilly in there, and you've got all these groups. I know Scott from County was there, Chief Fisher, everybody that's coming back in and just discussing that. At the end of the day, we all have the same goals and the same wants and stuff. So how do we put our heads together, drop any of those barriers that we may have or differences, and okay, for the better good, what are we looking at?
Right.
And it's awesome to see everybody, work together. And hey, if I got an issue, I'd call Dave and vice versa, and so on. Just everybody works together.
And the kind of unique thing is we've had, or I've had some interaction with other school corporations in towns, and when I explain how we are proactive and trying to be on the forefront of what we're doing, they can't believe that some of the people that are there at the table, Public Works, for example, people would say, well, why would you have Public Works there? Well, they own a lot of snowplows and dump trucks. And if you had an incident, God forbid, where we had to have road closures and whatnot, you're going to be very reliant on your Public Works.
Yep.
And Terry Security, his group, and you have such a robust Public Works department as well as everything else here, fire, police. They have them at the table, and people, once they hear that explanation, it's like, well, we need to do that. And I know that there's been several communities that you mentioned. Chief Lilly from Maryville Fire Department. They started the same thing on a pretty regular basis with their school corporation as well as the city components.
Yeah.
So I think, and that was in place before I got here. So kudos to everybody that put that together and having that forethought about what do we do to make sure that we're not, as I mentioned, not meeting the first time something happens.
Exactly. So obviously your position, you got a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. I mean, the safety of all the schools. We just talked about how many different locations you have and jurisdictions, and we all got kids that are in the school corporation now. So we want them to be as safe as possible. And sadly, you can't. Once a week, it seems like there's some kind of active shooter or some kind of incident in their schools across the country. So I know there's no quick fix, but I think the school corp in Crown Point has been really proactive on that. We know that we have 3 SROs full time in the school corporation, and then not to mention our dare officer who's in full time position in our elementary schools. So how is that? You see them all the time, interaction with them throughout you're all over the place.
Well, again, I mean, it's a testament to the commitment that the city had. And this was under your tutelage over at the police department across the street of bringing on and forming this relationship with us, bringing SROs to the school corporation, which I think is huge. We have 2 at the high school, 1 at each middle school. And then we just hired a civilian SRO to handle our new education center. It's the old TAP.
Yeah.
So we have some coverage there. And again, when I look at this city and look at what the services that are provided by the police department and fire department, I don't think there's another corporation or city, town, school corporation that has the police presence that we do. Every school within our corporation has police presence in the morning and in the afternoon, and they're conducting traffic control, getting people in and out. I think it's been perfected over the years pretty well.
Yeah.
And just having, I think there's a peace of mind by having a police officer and EMA there directing traffic, getting cars in and out, ensuring that the students are safe, in addition to having the crossing guards. When you add up all those things with what the commitment is by the police department each and every day that we're in session is phenomenal. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
For,
no,
for
absolutely.
having that.
Huge believer that, police presence or, EMA presence is huge. So it's nice driving up to that school and you got a marked squad car sitting right at the front door. All the national news that we, talked about. So then are there different, so you always have to look to adapt to different protocols or responses, if there's an active shooter or whatever, a threat inside this school, this is how we respond. And so are you guys always going through the training with all the teachers and staff? And
Yeah, we are. And we like to say that it's a living document, our policy and procedures on that, because it is ever evolving. Unfortunately, these things happen on a more regular basis than anybody would imagine. But we're constantly, it's not a document that's, hey, we're going to put it together, we're checking a box, and then we're throwing it up on a shelf. It's something that's ever changing, ever evolving based on situations. There's usually after action reports on all these incidents that happen, and we try to adapt accordingly. So yeah, and then we take that document, which contains a lot of our procedures and protocols based on best practices throughout the country, and then put it in motion with our teachers and staff.
Yeah.
And students. We do drills, and it's 25 years ago we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
No,
I mean, you probably would still be mayor 25 years ago, and I'm sure that wasn't on your initial bucket list either. But
I just remember like the tornado drills you get under your desk. Like, what's that gonna do?
Yeah, right. So, yeah, we try to very deliberately put that training into motion at our schools. That's obviously it's a tough subject.
It is.
Just, not only for the students but also for the staff and the teachers to even think about it. And it's you can prepare, and I know Mark Gianfermi, who's one of my boss. He's also part of the safety component within the leadership team. He said, we hope that this is the most practice we ever have, that we never have to use any of it. So, and I believe that's it.
It's well put.
It is a priority for us. Absolutely. Keep the students. I mean, that's our most precious commodity, right?
Yep.
Is our students and our staff as well. But we will continue to work hand in hand with all of our partners to make sure that we're hopefully not missing anything.
So I know construction is outside your day to day. You're not out there hanging drywall or whatever.
Right.
But a lot of construction going on at all the schools. I think every school is in touch with construction.
Yeah.
So everybody asks about the new tap.
Yep.
So if you've been out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So pretty impressive middle school.
And again, this happened under Dr. Terrell's watch. He had a vision and continues to have a vision about where we're going as a corporation. And, a lot of the buildings were outdated. They needed to have makeovers, if you will.
Yeah.
Some of them are totally being rehabbed. Some of them are, as you mentioned, new construction like Taft. So, but every school is going through some type of update.
I think it's important to note too on the construction of the schools. Not only were the physical buildings were improved, but a lot of the parking lots were re-engineered to make sure that the busing, parking, loading and unloading was safer, more improved. Get all that traffic off the streets and get it into the parking lot. Yeah. So a lot of consideration on just how to transport the students.
Right. That's
everybody loves the bobblehead.
Little token of appreciation from us to you. So.
Thank you very much.
And will it go on to the?
It'll go on there, buddy. Let me tell you that it's the shelves. I'm
There we
gonna have
go.
to do a secondary shelf.
Yeah, I think so.
or have Quinn do it, because if I did, it'd be all not level and everything. But, and then you got some nice coffee cups, Bulldog coffee cups,
A
and
little
notepad.
notepad.
How nice is that?
Mary, you have one as
Mary,
well.
you even got one, huh?
That's right.
And a fancy container. Adam, you can have the container.
That's very nice. Lots of my stuff in there.
Now when you go,
Coins.
you go to McDonald's, you can get 12 beverages instead of the 2 that they normally give you.
There you go. There you go. Well, I appreciate you coming in. School new year is well underway, and it's a fantastic first day.
Oh yeah,
Right? All
the kids
9,000
absolutely loved
kids.
it. I got 3 there, and they absolutely loved it. So it's all good.
And what grades? You got it out in
So-
high school.
Yeah, she'll be a sophomore. My oldest will be a sophomore, and my youngest was going in 8th grade, so she'll be the first graduating class of the new Taft.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, brand new school.
Brand new school for her. Yep.
Very nice.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, we went out there for the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
It's such an
Yeah,
impressive
Unbelievable.
school.
When you turn the corner and you come and see the whole thing, how massive it is, it's impressive.
Yeah, I don't think they failed on any detail for that. So again, it's great for the students, great for the staff.
Fantastic. So, looking forward to a great school year. I appreciate you coming in.
Mayor, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure
Appreciate
meeting and talking to you.
the opportunity to be here.
Heck yeah.
So
So,
I said, very, I mean this, very impressed with everything that you guys do here in this community.
Yeah.
And the people that the residents should be very proud.
Yeah. well,
Never,
got a great community.
never a weekend or even during the week that there isn't something popping around here.
That's right. Yeah, there's something. Try to
Very,
variety, something
very
to do for
impressive.
everybody.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
So Crown Point, our hometown rocks, and it's because of our citizens. So they're great people.
Very good.
Anyway, so that's the Mary. You have any concluding remarks? I should not shut you out. I'm sorry. She's shaking her head no. Okay. So that concludes this episode of Lay of the Land. I appreciate everybody tuning in.
This month's business spotlight is Dear Danny Boutique. Shop Dear Danny Boutique at 107 West Joliet Street for hand-picked, limited quantity collections from contemporary clothing and accessories to specialty items. You've been listening to Lay of the Land with Crown Point Mayor Pete Land and Chief of Staff Anthony Schlueter. If you like what you heard today, come hang out with us on the third Tuesday of every month. Lay of the Land is available on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time.